The billionaire had spent his entire life believing one simple truth. People only showed their real character when they thought no one was watching. That belief had built his empire and destroyed nearly every relationship he had ever known. So when priceless items started disappearing from his mansion and anonymous messages warned him not to trust the new maid, he didn't confront her. Instead, he quietly installed hidden cameras throughout the house. What he expected to discover was theft, betrayal, or deception. What he actually witnessed left him frozen in front of the screen, unable to hold back his tears. Before we continue this unforgettable story, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Kindness of Power, and turn on notifications so you never miss another inspiring story. Share this video with someone who believes kindness still exists. And don't forget to comment your city and country below. We'd love to know where you're watching from. Marcus Whitmore was one of the richest men in America. His technology empire was worth billions. His face appeared on magazine covers, and politicians often sought his advice. Yet behind the gates of his enormous estate, Marcus lived alone. 5 years earlier, his beloved wife Isabella had passed away after a long battle with cancer. Since then, silence had become his closest companion. The mansion was spotless, but it never felt like home anymore. Housekeepers came and went. Gardeners rarely lasted more than a few months. Marcus trusted contracts more than conversations and security systems more than people. Then came Angela Brooks. Angela was a quiet, black woman in her early 40s with gentle eyes and a calm smile that never seemed forced. She had recently moved to the city after caring for her elderly mother until her passing. Although her resume was simple, every former employer described her using the same words: honest, dependable, and compassionate. Marcus hired her without much thought. For weeks, Angela worked quietly. She polished furniture, organized rooms, prepared simple meals, and greeted Marcus each morning with the same warm smile. "Good morning, Mr. Whitmore," he usually answered with nothing more than a nod. Then strange things began happening. An expensive silver watch disappeared from Marcus's office. A crystal sculpture was found, broken in the library. Someone anonymously emailed Marcus claiming, "The new maid isn't who she pretends to be." Old wounds reopened instantly. Marcus had once trusted a business partner who stole millions from him. Since then, suspicion had become second nature. Instead of accusing Angela, he called his security company. "I want hidden cameras installed," he instructed. In every major room, Marcus looked around the enormous mansion. Everywhere. Within 48 hours, tiny cameras were hidden inside clocks, smoke detectors, bookshelves, and decorative frames. Marcus watched every recording late at night. The first day revealed nothing unusual. Angela cleaned carefully. She folded blankets with precision. She watered Isabella's favorite orchids exactly as instructed. She never entered rooms she wasn't assigned to. The second day looked the same. The third, Marcus noticed something unexpected. After finishing her work each evening, Angela quietly walked into the empty music room. The room had remained untouched since Isabella died, dust-covered. The grand piano, family photographs still stood exactly where Isabella had left them. Marcus leaned closer to the monitor. Angela didn't touch anything. Instead, she simply stood silently before Isabella's portrait. Then she whispered softly, "I'm sorry you left so soon." Marcus frowned. How could she know anything about Isabella? Angela gently picked up a dusty frame, carefully cleaned the glass with a soft cloth, and smiled. "You must have been deeply loved." She placed fresh flowers from the garden beside the portrait. Flowers Marcus himself hadn't placed there in years. The following evening, she returned. Again, she spoke softly. "I hope he's eating." "Enough." Marcus blinked in disbelief. She wasn't talking to herself. She was speaking as though Isabella could somehow hear her. Then something happened. Marcus never expected. Angela noticed one of Isabella's old handwritten recipes tucked beneath a cookbook. She carefully unfolded it. Without taking it or hiding it, she smiled warmly. The way to someone's heart is reminding them they're not alone. Angela folded the recipe, exactly as she'd found it. Then she quietly walked to the kitchen. Marcus immediately switched to the kitchen camera. What she did next would completely change everything he believed about the woman he had secretly been watching, and perhaps about kindness itself. Marcus immediately switched to the kitchen camera, expecting Angela to prepare herself a meal before leaving for the evening. Instead, she carefully laid Isabella's handwritten recipe on the counter. It was for homemade chicken soup, the very dish Isabella used to make whenever Marcus was overwhelmed by work or burdened by stress. Angela studied the faded handwriting for a moment, smiling softly as though she could almost hear the woman behind the words. With quiet care, she gathered the ingredients. Every movement was gentle and deliberate. She chopped vegetables slowly, stirred the broth patiently, and tasted it only once before adding a small pinch of herbs. There was no rush, no carelessness, only respect. When the soup was finished, she poured it into a bowl, placed it on a tray beside fresh bread, and wrote a short note. Everyone needs someone who cares. I hope this reminds you that tomorrow can still be beautiful. She signed only one word. Angela Marcus stared at the screen, unable to move. She wasn't stealing from him. She wasn't pretending to be kind for recognition. She believed he would never know who had prepared the meal. She expected no praise, no reward, and no thanks. The next evening, Marcus watched again. Angela finished cleaning earlier than usual and quietly walked into the greenhouse behind the mansion. Years ago, Isabella had filled it with flowers from around the world. But after her passing, Marcus had locked the doors and forgotten it. Angela found the old key hanging in the storage room. She opened the greenhouse. Rows of wilted plants greeted her. Broken flower pots lay scattered across the floor. She didn't complain. She simply rolled up her sleeves and began working over the next several days. Marcus watched in amazement as she removed dead leaves, watered dry soil, repaired cracked pots, and planted fresh seeds using supplies she found in the storage shed. During her lunch breaks, she would sit among the flowers and quietly speak to Isabella's photograph, which she had carefully placed on a nearby shelf. I think he'd smile again if he came here, she whispered. Marcus lowered his head. For 5 years, no one had dared enter that greenhouse, not even him. Then one Saturday morning, something unexpected happened. Marcus arrived home much earlier than planned. Instead of watching through a screen, he walked silently toward the greenhouse, himself. He stopped at the doorway. Angela hadn't noticed him. She was gently humming while arranging blooming white lilies. Then she spoke aloud. Mrs. Whitmore, I know I never met you, but I hope I'm taking good care of the home you loved. And I hope one day your husband realizes he doesn't have to carry his grief alone. Marcus felt tears welling in his eyes. For years, business rivals had admired his wealth. Employees had respected his authority. Investors had praised his intelligence. But this woman, this humble maid, had seen the loneliness behind it all. He stepped inside. Angela turned quickly, startled. Mr. Whitmore, I'm so sorry. I should have asked before coming in here. Marcus looked around the greenhouse. Sunlight poured through the glass ceiling, illuminating flowers that hadn't bloomed in years. His voice trembled. You brought it back to life. Angela lowered her eyes. I thought, maybe if the flowers bloomed again, your memories would hurt a little less. Silence filled the room. Then, Marcus did something none of his employees had ever witnessed. He embraced her, not as an employer, not as a billionaire, but as one grieving human being thanking another for an act of extraordinary compassion. A few weeks later, Marcus reviewed every minute of the hidden camera footage one final time. There had never been theft. The missing watch had slipped behind a bookshelf. The broken sculpture had cracked because its stand had weakened with age. The anonymous email had been sent by a former employee seeking revenge after being dismissed. Marcus immediately ordered, every hidden camera removed. I never want to spy on kindness again, he told his security team. Months later, Marcus established the Isabella Whitmore Foundation for Caregivers, funding scholarships and emergency assistance for domestic workers and family caregivers who quietly dedicate their lives to serving others. At the opening ceremony, he invited Angela to stand beside him. When reporters asked why, Marcus smiled. The greatest lesson of my life didn't come from a boardroom. It came from a woman who believed compassion mattered. Even when she thought no one was watching, Angela smiled through tears. "The world changes," she said softly, "one kind choice at a time." And perhaps that's the greatest reminder of all. True character isn't revealed by hidden cameras. It's revealed by the kindness we choose to show when we believe no one will ever see it. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Kindness of Power, like this video, and share it with someone who needs a little hope today. And before you go, tell us in the comments, which city and country are you watching from? Your message might inspire someone halfway across the world to believe in kindness again.